Social network analysis has a companion theory, structural theory, which says that a person's position in the network makes a difference in terms of their attitudes, behavior, and knowledge. Their position in the network determines the information that they receive. Roughly, the theory goes something like this. A set of antecedent conditions determines the communication structure, which in turn determines the information that they receive, which helps to formulate their attitudes and influences their behavior. There are a number of determinants of a network structure, including one's physical location. People form ties with those that they are close to. Geographers call this gravity models because mathematically the likelihood of social interaction, that is, forming a tie, is the population Pi and Pj of the two nodes multiplied together, divided by their distance, d, raised to a power, L. This is the same as Newton's law. But technology and electronic media allow social networks to violate social gravity. We can form ties with those people that are very distant. People form ties based upon their role in society or in organizations. We tend to form relations with people from the same culture and those who speak the same language. Most of our ties are with others of the same social class. They have the same occupation, education, or income. Finally, we form relations with those that are similar. We call this homophily, the notion that birds of a feather flock together. This may be either demographically, we share the same group characteristics, or psychographically, we are similar in personality or attitudes. The goal of network analysis is to describe the structure of a higher level system based upon the patterns of linkages amongst a set of lower level nodes. For example, to describe an organization's communication structure based upon the relations amongst its members. In this respect, network analysis differs from traditional research by focusing on relationships and not on the attributes of the nodes. In communication, we typically talk about the following network roles. An isolate who has no links in the network. An attached isolate or pendant who only has one link. An isolated dyad is a pair of nodes linked together but isolated from the rest of the network. A tree node tree nodes are a subset of nodes with minimal connections to the network. If any single node is removed, the result will separate the tree structure into two parts, creating isolates. A group member is a node with the majority, more than 50% of its linkages with other members of the same group. A bridge link is a group member with a link to another group. Finally, a liaison is a node that fails to meet the criteria of group membership, but has links to the other nodes that are group members. These roles are illustrated in this slide. Note that the bridges and the liaisons are also called gatekeepers because they can restrict the flow of information. We can examine the direct ties of specific individuals, focal nodes, with the members of their personal network, as I did with my Facebook network. When examining individual networks, we should ask the following question. What are the characteristics of the focal nodes? What are their attributes? Who are they? What are the characteristics of ties between the focal node and the other network members? How frequently do they communicate? What is the subject matter of their communication? What is their relationship? Are they friends, family members, intimates, or neighbors? What are the characteristics of network members with whom the focal nodes communicates? What are their attributes? Who are they? What is the composition of the network, the aggregate characteristic of the node's ties? And what are the structural characteristics? That is, the density. What kinds of clusters are formed? What groups are formed? Consider the three personal networks displayed. Does the individual have a radial or an interlocking network, or is he or she an isolate? In a radial network, a person gets different information, knowledge, and opinions from a variety of people. Radial networks are ideal for learning new information. In interlocking networks, all nodes share the same information, attitudes, and opinions. All information is redundant. This type of network is good for reinforcing existing attitudes and opinions. The isolate is detached from an information network and receives no information. A typical personal network may be represented in this slide. At the center of the network is the focal node. The individual's contacts may be divided into family and non-family, and the various types of friends differentiated: friends, co-workers, and neighbors. Further, the contacts may be categorized by the degree of intimacy: confidants, intimates, that is, close friends, and acquaintances, Facebook friends. This diagram also shows that network ties among individuals in the focal network, personal network. This was the approach taken to draw my social network based upon my Facebook friends that I presented at the beginning of the lecture.